Okay, hello, I'm gonna record a walkthrough of our game, Cyanopteris Magnetica. It's a puzzle game and a narrative adventure as well. I will narrate all of the important narrative moments and other things. So as you can see, you wake up on the unknown area and you get only a current objective and information on how to move. So from here, you need to just kind of go on your own. Here you get an information about scanning, and this is where you will encounter your first narrative object. That being a sign of Office 17. You can also see a giant building in the distance, which will be looming over our adventure. So we go back, we go down even more. There is another scannable object, which says that it's an unknown growth is covering it. And we can see that this unknown growth is everywhere. These early scans establish the main mysteries of the game that we're about to uncover. I will only show one foldback fully, and I will show all of the endings using the debug menu we have in our game. So here, you arrive at the first puzzle. You notice that the cable goes over here, that cable goes over there, so you come in here. It prompts you to interact, you interact. You solve a very basic puzzle, and it opens a door. You can also see here that everything has sound effects, and we have atmospheric music playing. So this is where you pick up your first tool. You also can scan this robot, of course, which establishes even more lore and questions certain things. You have a bunch of tooltips on your left, which tell you how to use all of your abilities and all of that stuff. And we discovered the magnetic field, which we can activate by solving this very simple puzzle. And as we can see, it's now active, which means it will freeze objects in it. So if I throw it, it will freeze. So for example, if I put it down, right, and then I can put another one to cross this fence. As you saw, our current objective is to find, living humans to receive a new directive. Also, you can notice that the environment itself is telling a lot of story. We spawned somewhere in like a city area, or some sort of road with like some sort of roadblock over here. So we continue. We scan another robot, which is offering us its core. So we take that. And that activates this field. So we can arrange cubes again in the same way we did before. And here we can also learn that we can use cubes in a very interesting way, that because they're frozen in space, you can just grab a previous one and put it back up. Another step right here. And here we are at another puzzle. This one will be quickly solved over here. Hopefully, like this, like this. Yep, there we go. But this terminal actually opens a message for us, which also establishes a character, Overseer. So we already have a lot of establishing lore. We have this weird robot seemingly character who is very anti-human. We have some sort of thing growing around here, and we have this abandoned city. Now there is another scan over here, which is pretty easy to miss, which says that people were trying to flee, but they were stopped. And as we saw, this terminal already said that we're not letting any more refugees. So from here, as that robot said, we need to find our way to the Aegis Tower. So the way we can go is to the Champs. Arriving at the Champs, there are lots of scannable objects here. A robot pile, which is making us question why are we still online if all of the other robots are dead. It also adds more lore to what has been happening in the past. This small node which simultaneously teaches us how to use one of our abilities and like this platform, while also giving a little bit of lore of Lisa. We'll encounter this character again. More people who are trying to flee. And a functional tram card, which tells us that we can reroute power from cliffside or shipyard generators. And we can see the door here is locked. This also tells us that this door seems to lead to the mines, yet the power to it has been cut off, so we cannot access it until we restore power to the tram station. So we have a lot of environmental storytelling already, and this is where the important moment comes. This sign establishes that we can only access one of the two doors on the second floor, either the cliffside or the shipyard, and we will not be able to access another one. This is the fold-back structure. While you will be able to proceed exactly the same from both of these doors, one of these doors will lock the other one. So for this case, I will go for the cliffside. Though I will show the shipyard at the end for demonstration purposes. I will just teleport there using our debug menu. So, arriving at the cliffside, we can scan more stuff. There is lots of information on the Blue Plague. So cliffside mostly focuses on the results of the Blue Plague, like things decaying, while the shipyard will focus on what the Blue Plague actually has done, right? Like how it has spread and where it began. So there is a lot of scannable objects around here. I will not show all of the scannable objects. There are 40 of them in the game. So this robot is also offering us a new ability. And with this new ability, we'll be able to do something very interesting. After I solve this puzzle real quick. So after we solve this puzzle, we can follow its path. As you can see, this path leads to that platform over there. And we have obtained a new ability, which already told us that we can magnet to purple surfaces. So for example, right, like after we picked up this object, it said shift magnet yourself to purple powered surfaces. And we can see the purple powered surface over there. We can also scan this, and we'll see that this, behind this door, is a power router. So we need to open this door. To open this door, we need to go over there. And to go over there, we need to find a way to power up all of this stuff. So, you know, let's get on it. So this is where we go. We go over here. We climb up. And we dismount. So this is where another one of super magnetic fields is. Oh. Come on. This being a bit finicky because it is lagging for some reason. So yeah, we can now, if we unplug it, as you can see, the cubes will actually fall. So if I unplug it, the cubes fall down. Now we don't have to unplug it, it doesn't really matter. We can take this power source, or we can take this one. So now we activated this field, so we can climb to this area. Now you might ask, why would we climb it? Well, because this is the way to that area, which will allow us to unlock the door. So we only need really 2 cubes, because we can just keep stacking them. And there we go. As you can see, this platform is powered. And we can solve another one of these puzzles. Which will unlock a door for us with the power router. But you can also notice that this also opens something on the second floor over there. We'll go check it out as well. Once we click the power router, as you approach it, it will give us a prompt, and we will see cliffside power router online, all electrical devices on this level powered, so everything here is now powered. Door to trams powered, so we can just go, return to trams, and take our leave, essentially go to the next location, and completely abandon Iskra without really exploring anything. But this will limit our ending options and the amount of stuff we can find, right? So I will show the longest path, but at this point you can go straight to the Aegis Tower. But yeah, for example, here is another scan, and we can see another character, K. And we can see that there is something here. We can scan it. This is the elevator that leads to the live dome, and we can look up, and there it is. So we take this elevator. And there we go. We arrive at the live dome. We are right above, cliffside and all of that stuff. And this is the live dome. So I will just head there, solve a puzzle there. I will not solve the optional puzzle. The optional puzzle in the live dome simply unlocks even more scannable objects. And that's really it. So we'll skip that, because scannable objects, as I have said, so Live Dome is not a mandatory location, but Live Dome, if you scan a lot of the objects here, you will be able to discover a lot of the information on how this plague came to be, why is it causing magnetic problems for equipment, why is it destroying the flora and fauna around this area. And again, if you chose Shipyard instead of Cliffside, you would have also known where it actually began and how it spread. So this area is pretty huge, as you can see. There is a lot of stuff to scan, but as I have said, I'm gonna skip most of it because time limitations, sadly. And I'm gonna head straight to the second floor, which is where the main puzzle is. And again, players will discover a lot more here. They will be navigating these areas, they will be researching, and I'm here for only for purposes of demonstration. One moment here. Oops. Here we go. And so we climb up and we arrive on the second floor. This is where we can solve the second puzzle, which is non-optional if you want to get to the mines. And we can see that this terminal over there opens up this door, and there is a terminal there which opens up a bunch of doors here. So, but the first thing we should do is solve this puzzle, which is extremely simple. They look a lot more complicated than they actually are. That's intentional. So we magnet to this thing, we go up, we go around here, we pick up this block, we put it over here, jump on it, jump here. And then we can magnet over here, climb up, and there we go. We can solve this terminal. So we're now not in a fallback path, right? Live Dome is accessible from both locations, from both the shipyard and from the cliffside. The reason for that is because we don't want to limit the gameplay opportunities for players by, letting them... We only limit their narrative, right? So if we actually can, make it work. It really doesn't wanna... Oh, there it was. There we go. And now we can go to this terminal. And you can see that there are a lot of spaces, living spaces, working spaces in this live dome, because it's a live dome. And if you read all of the notes in this area, you will also discover that the reason all of them are here is because Live Dome was set up as an outpost, essentially, to study the Blue Plague, right? Which is in itself caused by Cyanopteris magnetica, which is a form of flora that has evolved from absorbing tellurium, which is a magnetic material. So, for example, here we can scan it and we can see the magnetic field. So no known flora has exhibited this behavior before. So yeah, there is a lot of things to scan around here, as you can see. And they talk about also the lives of people here as they slowly struggle with food, as they struggle with other things. There is lots of lore you can discover on our adventure to the Aegis Spire and on the Aegis Spire itself. So over here we unlock Live Dome power. And now the door has been opened to the mines. Now we can take a long way back. We can actually go to the cliff side, go to Tramps, and from Tramps go to mine. Or we can just take this door to the mines directly. And so here we are at the mines level. There is a giant hole in the wall into which we jump. And we fall into the mine. Now, there is not so complicated puzzle here, but it will get complicated once we will have to climb out of here. So we place this in here. We can step on this now because it is powered. And these are also powered by the same thing. We climb over here. And this is where we will unlock a new power. Power transfer. Using this, as you can see, this terminal is not connected to anything. And it's not powered. So, we power it ourselves. And now we can open it and solve it. And we can see a lot of information here. And you can notice Lisa Drive. Lisa, the same person who we have already encountered. And we see that tellurium is being moved to the Aegis Spire by the Overseer. Even if Lisa Drive is concerned about, you know, the employment safety. And this is where we find who is likely Lisa Drive. By scanning this, we obtain a new optional objective. Find a way to power down the tellurium reactor at the Aegis Spire. And we obtain the reactor entrance code. Again, lots of lore, which allows us to connect the dots. So now we just climb out of here by using these platforms. Like that. We can remove all of the powers we have left down there. And we can magnet to this. Then magnet to here. Then put power here. So this essentially is trying to teach you a more complex version of using your polarity switch ability. And we're out. Many players struggle with it, which is the point. You're supposed to learn quite a bit. And now with this newfound ability, we can return to Tramps by taking this door, or again, we can take a long way back by taking that door. But I will take this door directly to Tramps. And we arrive at Tramps. So now, only thing we need to do is activate that terminal over there. As you can see, this robot would give us another power transfer, but as we already have one, we don't need it. So let's solve the puzzle. Puzzle is solved, and now the train is active. And we can go to the Aegis Spire. And here we are. You can look back and see where we came from. And this is the Aegis Spire. This location is purposely left empty for people to kind of wander and feel kind of uneasy at how huge everything is. And kind of contemplate what they're about to see at the Aegis Spire, given that we're supposed to find a human here. According to, you know, the robot who talked to us. Let me actually increase the volume and decrease the music a little bit. Yeah, there we go, that's better. Hopefully it is not too loud. I might make it a little bit quieter. So yeah, we reached the Aegis Spire. Right now I will show this quote-unquote secret ending. So if you finished the mine, and if you have scanned, you receive the optional objective, you will actually be able to access something. And you can see that there is somebody moving here and trying to run away from us. Notice that they went into the left door. So there are a lot of scannable objects here, again. You can find a lot of tellurium here. You can find a bunch of skeletons, which passed away not from the fungi, but they seem to have passed away peacefully. And we can find that this is the reactor, and it needs the access code. And this is the doors. There are 2 layers. So this explains to us that we cannot just use this and go straight in. We need to actually activate it properly using that terminal. And same for this side, right? If we just do this, it won't actually work for us. So now what we're gonna be doing is that we're gonna solve puzzle for the reactor side. They do mostly go the same at first. So our first thing is that we need to power this outlet. We need to grab this orb. So this orb, as you can discover on the shipyard, and if you notice it's red color, this is tellurium. So these power nodes are actually tellurium. So now we can go in here, take this. Again, people will struggle with this puzzle. This puzzle is rather complicated and you need to explore quite a bit. Also, you can hear that the music changed. This is our second track, which is much more active and much more focused on like thinking. So we'll need all of these cubes. And we'll need to solve this terminal to activate this super magnetic field. So that super magnetic field is active now. And we can use the cubes we have acquired to climb up there. I'll just use 2, because that's all you really need. And we'll need to climb on the 4th floor, as you can see. Need to lower this one. So yeah, as you can see, these later levels, like the mine and this one, really test your ability on using your upgrades that you have acquired early in the level, early in the story. And there we go, this should be the last one. And we arrive on this floor. And we unlock this. Which activates that door at the top, so we can now enter that. We can use the cube to escape this area by putting it a little bit in the field like that. We might need another one. There we go. Now we can go solve that. So we activate this. This door already active from that terminal. And so let's solve this terminal now. There we go. And now we can enter the reactor. So this is one of the final levels. There are two final levels. One of them leads to one of the endings. This one leads to another. I will demonstrate you this level, and then I will quickly teleport and just show off the ending of the other one, and I will quickly show off the shipyard. So we activate this, we pass on this side. Again, I'm really skipping all of these puzzles and all of this stuff, because we are focusing on the lore here. As you can see, this is a reactor, which we were told to deactivate because it's tellurium. As you can see, everything is glowing red, because everything is tellurium. So we solve this real fast. Then we grab this orb. And we cross this path with it. And we bring it over here to power all of these platforms on that side. As you can hear, the sound design is also echoing. You can also notice that our weapon did not change color when we entered the Aegis Spire. That's because we are already affected by the Blue Plague, while this area is not. And the reason for why we're still active, you could already derive from the facts at the cliff side and from the facts at the live dome, but we'll be told much more straight up about it later. Well, not later, not in this ending, but in one of the other endings. We have 3 endings overall. And so here we go. We arrive at this terminal over here. And we power down the reactor. And here we get a monologue from our protagonist. And this is how the game ends. So now I will really quickly show the other two endings by utilizing the debug menu we have made for testing. So I will really quickly activate the debug menu, and I will really quickly teleport to Aegis quarters. So instead of going to the oh, the game crashed. That happens sometimes, I guess. Let's ignore it. I'm just gonna open it from the engine instead. So let's open the debug menu. And again, I will just teleport directly to where we need to. It takes a second to load because it's actually loading all of the levels to verify stuff. So yeah, we go to Aegis quarters. We can also give ourselves all of the weapons immediately before we go. And so here we arrive here. Now here we need to power up this, quickly step on it, get off of it, grab this orb, and use it to power up that door. Oh, opa. Yeah, this also happens sometimes. I need to quickly just... Oh, grab it. There we go. You can also see that there are skeletons in some of these chairs. But what we need is that, remember that the robot, or a person, or whoever it is, ran in this direction, and you can see them on the balcony over there. So it is time for us to approach them. So we will encounter even more storytelling here. We will see that a lot of people here died just where they stood, where they sat, where they slept. And we'll get most of our answers in the upcoming dialogue. As you can see, there are lots of skeletons here. And there we go. This is the final dialogue with the Overseer, which we have already encountered. It was sending messages to people and scheming stuff. Calculating, this is what the debug menu already did for us. And we only have the option to accept directive because we didn't acquire enough. We didn't scan enough objects. And so it shows you our death. Now, if we scan enough objects, again, let's activate the debug menu. Let's turn all of this on and let's go to quarters. Using the debug menu, we can also open this door immediately instead of solving the puzzle. There we go. And once we talk to him, we'll get another ending. Let me quickly give ourselves all of the scans. There we go, 100% of scans. Oh, yeah, sometimes opening the debug menu causes weird bugs. Like stepping. And so here, it checks how many we have. And we can use... Oh. Oh, yeah, we lost the cursor. Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, this also sometimes happens. And let's quickly do all of this again. Aegis quarters. And let's open all of the doors. Yeah, and let's go talk to that overseer finally. And then I will show the shipyard, and that will be it. Again, this game will be much longer if you are actually scanning everything, if you're researching all of the levels, and if you don't know how to solve the puzzles, especially. So here, we approach the overseer again. Let's quickly skip all of this stuff. And we reject the directive, and we walk away. And this is a slightly different ending. So now I will quickly show the shipyard. I will not really solve it, I will just show some of the examples of what you find here. So for example, here's a cargo manifest, and you can see that they are moving stuff around. And if we pick up this, so as you can see, you acquire the same ability, because this level is kind of like a cliffside. And for example, this is a really important example, is that it shows us that it's magnetic. And some of the other shipping manifests say that this this is where it all began, that this is the point of origin, because they were transferring the same certain flora alongside tellurium, and flora had nothing to absorb, so it absorbed tellurium and started to become something else, something weird, which has caused magnetic disruptions across Iskra and caused the fall of this world. So that is it. Thank you.